Hello everyone, and welcome to GMPKit's Leadership Skills Training, your resource for leadership development and professional growth. My name is Cameron, and I'm so glad that you can join me today. In today's video, we're discussing the core leadership skill of driving vision and purpose, one of the many skills that separate managers from truly inspiring leaders. So how do great leaders create a vision that motivates others and keeps teams focused on the future? Well, let's find out as we take a look at what driving vision and purpose truly means. What is driving vision and purpose? Driving vision and purpose is a leadership skill that involves creating and communicating a compelling picture of the future, one that inspires others to move toward a common goal. See, leaders who excel in this skill often provide more than just direction. They create meaning. They help team members understand not only what they're working toward, but more importantly, why it matters. See, without a strong vision, members of the team often feel lost and without purpose, not only compromising the team's energy and commitment, but also putting the long-term success of the organization and company in the crosshairs of risk. However, a strong vision and purpose gives people focus, energy, and commitment. It aligns efforts, encourages collaboration, and helps teams achieve long-term success that benefits not only the company, but also the team. And because circumstances change, effective leaders know how to adapt their vision while keeping their teams centered on the bigger vision and purpose. Now let's take a look at how to identify a strong, vision-driven, and purpose-filled leader. So how can you recognize a leader who is skilled at driving vision and purpose? Or how can you tell if you, as a leader, are skilled in this area? Well, let's take a look and find out. Leaders who are skilled in driving vision and purpose, number one, define a clear direction for the team or organization. Being able to define a clear direction is essential to the success of your team and organization. Here's an example to put this into picture. Let's imagine you and your team are driving in a car. In this example, the car represents your organization, and the act of driving represents the daily tasks that your team is responsible for, both short-term and long-term tasks. And at first, everything seems fine. The car's running well, and you continue moving forward. But after a few days, one of your team members asks this very important question: where are we going? Without a clear destination, you continue driving anyway. And as time goes on, more team members begin asking the same question: where are we going? Still, without a defined direction, you keep moving forward, but uncertainty begins to grow. And eventually, the car runs out of fuel, and without a destination in sight, you and your team are forced to stop and abandon the journey. See, the same is true when it comes to defining a clear direction for your team or organization. Without defining a clear direction, you and your team/organization will feel uncertain and lost, and ultimately may be forced to abandon the journey altogether. So number one, strong leaders define a clear direction for the team or organization. Number two, strong leaders communicate a vision that inspires and motivates others. A strong leader communicates a vision that gives people something meaningful to work toward while creating a sense of purpose. A well-known example of this can be seen in the movie Braveheart, one of my personal favorites. William Wallace had a clear vision of Scotland as a free nation. He communicated that vision with passion and conviction, inspiring others to believe in this cause and join him in fighting for the freedom of their nation. This example shows how a compelling vision can unite people, build commitment, and motivate them to take action toward a common purpose. So number two, a strong leader communicates a vision that inspires and motivates others. Number three, a strong leader aligns team members around shared goals. Strong leaders align their teams around shared goals, creating a sense of purpose and unity among the team members. When everyone understands what they're working toward, collaboration becomes stronger and efforts become more focused. This alignment helps tasks to be completed more effectively and keeps the team moving forward together toward the larger vision. So number 3, a strong leader aligns team members around shared goals. Number 4, strong leaders adapt their vision when circumstances change. Strong leaders understand that circumstances can change unexpectedly, and they know how to adapt their vision when needed. As a family member once said to me, life is subject to change without notice. We need to learn to adapt and overcome. Now, this mindset applies to leadership as well. When strong leaders face challenges, setbacks, conflict, they remain flexible and make the necessary adjustments to keep the team or organization moving forward while staying focused on the bigger picture. So number 3, strong leaders adapt their vision when circumstances change. Strong leaders also encourage input, ideas, and feedback from others. When team members feel that their voices are heard, they develop a greater sense of value and ownership in the work they do. By inviting others to contribute, leaders create collaboration, help team members to feel like they are part of something bigger, and this shared vision and purpose of the team. This is not only strengthens engagement, but also builds commitment and trust as everyone works together toward a common goal. So strong leaders encourage input, ideas, and feedback from others. Strong leaders also create focus, commitment, and a sense of purpose. Strong leaders help their team focus on both the day-to-day tasks as well as the bigger vision. They foster commitment to shared goals while inspiring team members with a clear sense of purpose. See, by connecting daily work to the larger mission, leaders help their teams stay motivated, engaged, and aligned as they work toward long-term success. So a strong leader creates focus, commitment, and a sense of purpose. Strong leaders also keep the team moving toward long-term objectives. Strong leaders keep their teams focused on the bigger purpose without getting caught in the cycle of simply completing tasks. See, they help team members see beyond their daily responsibilities by connecting their work to the larger vision, ensuring that progress is not just about checking off tasks, but about moving meaningfully toward long-term goals. So strong leaders keep the team moving toward long-term objectives. So in short, these leaders help their team stay grounded on purpose, showing where they're going and why it's worth the effort to get there. However, not all leaders share these characteristics. So let's take a look at some signs that point toward leadership growth opportunities in this next module. On the other hand, leaders who struggle with driving vision and purpose may show different behaviors. Number 1, they may fail to communicate a clear direction. Without a clear direction from a leader, team members can become confused, distracted, and focused only on completing tasks rather than working toward the larger vision. See, when the vision is not clearly communicated, it becomes harder for the team to stay aligned, motivated, and connected to the bigger purpose. Number 2 is these leaders may struggle to inspire others with a meaningful vision. See, if the vision is simply to complete day-to-day tasks, inspiration will be quickly lost. See, people naturally want to know that their work contributes to something greater than just the tasks in front of them. See, when that larger purpose is missing, motivation and engagement begin to decline. Now let's take a look at a few more examples, and for time's sake, we'll go through these quickly. These leaders may focus on immediate tasks instead of long-term goals. They may have difficulty aligning the team around a shared purpose. They may also resist adapting when circumstances change. Lastly, they may miss opportunities to involve the team members in shaping the vision. Ultimately, these behaviors can result in teams becoming confused, disengaged, and disconnected from the larger goal, resulting in diminished team energy and commitment, which ultimately puts the organization in the crosshairs of risk. Now let's take a look at why a leader might struggle to drive vision and purpose in this next module. There are many reasons a leader may struggle to drive vision and purpose. However, some of the more common barriers include the following. Number one, leaders may have limited leadership experience. See, one leading at a manager level might not yet understand how to lead at an executive level. Here's another barrier a leader may face: lack of confidence. As one chief operating officer of a pharmaceutical company once shared with me, your confidence is their confidence. And this is important to understand because this statement highlights an important truth about leadership. Team members often look to the leader for direction and stability. When leaders communicate with confidence in both the vision and decisions they make, it helps build trust and confidence within the team as well. Now let's take a look at a few more potential reasons a leader may struggle in these areas. A leader may have a narrow understanding of the industry or business environment. They also may have a tendency to micromanage. They also may focus too heavily on short-term results. They may not listen to team feedback. And lastly, stress, burnout, or external personal challenges may contribute to this. However, being able to recognize these barriers is a first step toward growth. So let's take a look at how to build this skill in the next module. The good news is that driving vision and purpose is a leadership skill that can be developed. Leaders can strengthen this capability by doing some of the following. Number one, attend a leadership workshop or training session. See, just because you are the leader does not mean that you stop learning. In fact, some of the most influential leaders spend time learning throughout their entire career and into retirement. Another way you can grow in this capability is by seeking mentorship or coaching from experienced leaders. Seeking mentorship from experienced leaders can bring additional perspectives as well as any necessary correction in order to become the best leader that you can be. Now let's take a look at a few other things that you can do to grow in this area. Number one, you can take on a project that requires creating and communicating a vision. Number two, practice active listening and gathering feedback from team members. Number three, begin reading and learning about leadership, communication, and strategy. Number four, participate in industry events to broaden perspective. Number five, lead cross-functional initiatives to build a more comprehensive view of the organization. Altogether, as leaders, it's crucial to take time to sharpen our leadership skills, whether through attending seminars, reading books, or seeking wisdom from trusted mentors who've served in leadership roles. See, by continuing to learn, leaders strengthen their ability to communicate effectively, think strategically, and guide others towards success. However, understand that growth isn't immediate. It happens through practice, reflection, and experience. However, when you put in the effort, you will become a stronger and more effective leader. Now let's take a moment to review what we have learned about driving vision and purpose in the next module. Now that we have identified critical aspects of driving vision and purpose, let's take a second to review what we have learned. And to conduct this review, I'm going to ask you 3 questions, each with 4 options. What you have to do is just pick the option that you think fits the answer the best. I'll give you 10 seconds to find the option, and we will come back and see if you're correct. Which of the following is a characteristic of a leader skilled in driving vision and purpose? Option A, avoids team feedback to maintain control of the message. Option B, struggles to articulate clear direction. Option C, encourages team members to contribute to the vision. Option D, focuses solely on short-term tasks. If you selected option C, then you are correct. Encouraging team members to contribute to the vision not only creates a sense of value and ownership, but it also builds camaraderie within the team. See, when people feel included in shaping the direction of the group, they become more connected to one another and to the shared goal. This sense of collaboration strengthens trust, teamwork, and commitment, ultimately helping the team move forward together with a unified purpose. Question 2. What is one potential barrier that may hinder a leader's ability to drive vision and purpose? A. Strong communication skills. B. Tendency to micromanage. C. Confidence in decision making. D. Long-term goal setting. If you selected option B as your answer, you are correct. Micromanaging can hinder a leader's ability to drive vision and purpose because it keeps them focused on the small details rather than the bigger picture. When a leader is constantly involved in how every task is done, they lose valuable time and energy that should be spent reinforcing direction, communicating purpose, and ultimately guiding the overall vision. It can also have an impact on the team itself. Instead of feeling trusted and empowered, team members may become overly dependent on direction, which limits creativity, ownership, and alignment with the larger goal. Question 3. What is an effective development activity for strengthening vision-driven leadership? Option A. Avoiding cross-functional collaboration. Option B. Skipping industry events to stay focused internally. Option C. Leading a project that requires creating and sharing a vision. Option D. Limiting team input to maintain clarity. If you selected option C as your answer, you are correct. Leading a project that requires you to create and communicate a vision is a valuable and practical exercise for developing leadership skills. It challenges you to think strategically, clearly define direction, and effectively share that vision with others in a way that builds understanding and alignment. Now let's ask a few more questions to think about how you can apply these leadership skills in your personal career. Now that we've taken a moment to learn and review about key aspects of driving vision and purpose, let's take a moment to review how you can apply these skills to your own personal leadership journey. And to do so, I want to ask you a few questions. How will you define and communicate a compelling long-term vision for your team or project that aligns with organizational goals? Well, you can begin by identifying key themes or outcomes that reflect your values and mission. You can also outline how you'll share this vision consistently across different communication channels, such as team meetings, strategy documents, and even one-on-ones. I want to ask you another question. What strategies will you implement to make your vision adaptable in response to shifting priorities or team feedback? Take a moment to consider specific checkpoints or feedback loops, such as quarterly reviews, pulse surveys, retrospectives, to assess relevance and adjust your vision as needed to keep your team aligned and inspired. Here's another question to think about. How will you foster shared ownership of the team vision by encouraging input and collaboration from others? You can begin by defining tactics such as hosting visioning sessions, idea jams, or incorporating team contributions into strategic plans. But be specific about how and when you will invite team participation. Another question to think about is, in what ways will you assess whether your team is aligned and motivated by the vision and purpose you've set? Take some time and identify tools and practices such as engagement surveys, observation of team behaviors, and one-on-one check-ins to gauge alignment and adjust your leadership approach accordingly. And lastly, what measurable leadership goals will you set to strengthen your ability to drive vision and purpose, and how will you track your progress? You can use tools like SMART goals, leadership journals, or accountability partners to define milestones and track outcomes related to vision clarity, team engagement, and long-term progress. I'd encourage you to take some time to reflect on these questions as you go about your week. And without further ado, let's take a look at our final module. At its core, driving vision and purpose is about helping people connect to something bigger than the tasks in front of them. See, when leaders create clarity, inspire commitment, and align teams around the shared future, they don't just manage work, they lead with purpose. And that's what drives lasting success. I personally want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you have any questions, thoughts, or insights, please leave them in the comments down below. We would love to hear from you. And if you found this video helpful, feel free to share it with someone you think could benefit from it as well. Also, to learn more about GMPKit, be sure to check out the link in the description down below. You can visit our website and learn more about our company and the services we provide. And I also want to leave you with something to think about in the form of a question. Is it possible to align someone's personal goals with the organization's goals? Take some time to think about that as you go about your week. And until next time, take a moment to reflect on what we discussed today, because driving vision and purpose is only the beginning of your leadership journey.